And they're going to snap it, and it's Trey Burton who throws, caught. Foles, touchdown.
Jarrett Stidham finds himself in a rare company of quarterbacks who did not start a game all season long and now are starting a game, not only in the playoffs, but the AFC Championship game. I'm going to be breaking it down on how he can kind of go on a unique run, because even Nick Foles, I think, is like the outlier you look at of somebody who found success, but he also had weeks in the regular season to build it up, and had way more NFL experience to anything that Jarrett Stidham has. We quickly look at Jarrett Stidham's career stats. It's going to be bright. Again, my apologies. This is his games played. 3 games with 2019, 4 attempts, right? He really has never been a guy who started, right? This is a games played, and he did not, he probably took a knee, right? He's just not, I think he has 4 career starts, where if you look at Nick Foles, in general, this is Nick Foles' stats in general, right? When you look at his stats before his run, he still had games where he was a quarterback getting reps and opportunities to a higher extent than anything he ever saw, than Stidham saw. He's a quarterback that had more experience, is what I'm trying to say. And that's why it's a little bit worrying to me, why I think this is something that if I was a Broncos fan, I just wouldn't feel very great about. I love the story. I love cheering for an underdog. I love cheering for a guy who is counted out, who has everybody doubting him and can go out there and shock the world. But it's hard to play quarterback in the NFL. We see it with a lot of quarterbacks, especially this postseason, with C.J. Stroud, with Caleb Williams, with Josh Allen, and their turnover problems. Justin Herbert, right? Justin Herbert is at least a top 10 quarterback in the regular season, and he has never found playoff success. And you're asking Jarrett Stidham, who's never had NFL reps, to go out there and win you a game. Now, I'm going to bring up a couple statistics from Nick Foles and that Philly team. So if you look in the 2017 series, again, a little bright, the Philadelphia Eagles were the 4th-ranked defense. So had a lot of touchdowns, were a very defensive team. Now, they had some good offensive weapons as well, but they're a defensive-first team who were built with the O-line and everything very well. Like, they're a team that was built very well, that Philly team was. When you look at the 2025 Denver Broncos, they are the 3rd-ranked defense, right? So it's interesting to me when you, again, go through these two teams and you're like, well, is there any comparisons? Is there anything that you can take from Nick Foles' run and say, well, Stidham has a similar situation to go into? It's very different. They are completely 2 different complete players, scenarios, careers, ages, all that. The only difference is I do think both teams were defensive-centric first. So Stidham isn't going to have to go into a role like if Mitch Trubisky was going to have to step in for Josh Allen. That is a completely different thing, where the Bills were not a good defensive team. Their O-line wasn't great, and the run game just did not work well in the postseason. Like, that would have been an impossible role for Mitchell Trubisky to go into, where Stidham, this Broncos team is an offensive first. It's what their defense can do. So I think that is a positive for him. But again, this is when, again, pull up another stat here. When you look at Nick Foles' stats from the playoffs in the 2017 run specifically, okay, that is what we are looking at. Sorry, I keep getting the same consistent pop-up ads when I try and get this. So again, 2017 specifically, 6 touchdowns, 1 interceptions in 3 games played. Are those insane stats? No. But again, you talk about his just being very consistent. He didn't do too much. He wasn't forcing things, where if you look like in 2018, again, he struggled a lot more. So I think it's how much can you get the ball out of Stidham's hand? How much can you simplify the game? I talked about this a little bit in a couple other my videos with like Sam Darnold and his postseason success. Talked about it a little bit with Bo Nix about simplifying the game and making it a little bit easier for these quarterbacks who you just don't trust as much as the top guys. I think it's going to be one of those where you have to get the run game going. You cannot fall behind a lot. Like if they go down 14 points in the first quarter, I think the game's over. If their defense can get them some stops, can get them some plays, and make it a ball game in that first half and say, okay, Stidham, you're not having to throw 40 passes this game. We're going to get you 24 passes, get you in situationals. We'll make it 3rd and 4 passing situations rather than 3rd and 8, and just make the game easier for him. I think that there's opportunity for this Broncos team to make a run. It's 2 games that he has to win. He needs to win the AFC Championship game against this Patriots team that, again, hot take or not, I don't love how the Patriots team have played. I like Drake May. I just don't think he's played amazing. I think both their teams they've played, like the Chargers look terrible. The Texans look terrible, especially their offense. It was a really gross game that both those teams played in New England. Denver's going to be at home. But I think I have a little bit of concerns where Nick Foles went into the regular season. He had momentum going into the postseason. Where do you think that Broncos locker room is a little bit lost, or do they think their season's a little bit over? And if any thoughts like that are creeping into their heads, I do think the year's over. A lot of people were talking about why don't they do things like bringing in Phillip Rivers. I think you see why you don't bring in a Phillip Rivers. Like, I just think you got to stay in-house for this one. It's just too late in the year. Like, if Phillip Rivers was able to win a couple games and then push the Colts into the postseason, we're talking about a completely different scenario. But that Colts team fundamentally was not a postseason roster. They had a very, in my opinion, like 2023 Saints team starting-wise, and then traded everything. And we can go on a whole rant about how the 2025 Colts is a disaster. But regardless, I think Jarrett Stidham finds himself in very, very unique scenarios. Okay, I'm going to read off a couple of different quarterbacks who did not play a single snap in the regular season and played in the postseason. Joe Webb started the wildcard game due to an injury to Christian Ponder in 2012. That game did not go well. There are plenty of quarterbacks. Connor Cook, I'm seeing, played week 17 and the wildcard game. He never played in the league again after that season. I think it's so unparalleled for a quarterback to get injured in this situation like this. Like, you see quarterback injuries all the time, and quarterbacks maybe not even like publicly addressing like, oh yeah, I broke my finger and I'm not going to tell the media because I can play through it. Where Bo Nix's injury is just something he cannot play through. It really sucks. Like, I hate injuries, especially late in the season, especially when you really can't do anything and you have no choice to just... Jarrett needs to play. And I don't know. I think it's going to be a game script that has to go... Their defense needs to play well off the rip. If they fall behind, I think the game's over. And it could get ugly. Where I think if they can keep the game script within reach, I think Stidham can be okay. He was a backup under Tom Brady. Has been in the Denver system for a little bit, battled for the QB job against Bo Nix. Did not win the job for the Raiders in 2022, which kind of maybe could say some things, I think. Whatever. But he's been with Denver for 3 years. I don't know, man. I think when you talk about runs, this is going to have to be one of them. I love a Cinderella run. I love a Linsanity type run. I just don't know if Stidham's going to have it. He just does not have a lot of experience. And when you're talking about a quarterback trying to figure it out, the AFC Championship game is probably not the time. But I don't know. They got a lot of things going for them. If they can get the special teams going, get Marvin Mims to get some good punt returns, like different things like that. There's things that with the Broncos, like Will Lutz is a pretty consistent kicker. If you can get the special teams working well, if you can get the defense going well, and you can simplify the offense, I think Stidham has a chance to make a run. But truthfully, only time will tell. I truthfully felt like the Patriots with Bo Nix playing or not, I would have picked the Patriots. I just think their team just has I don't know. I've been a Broncos doubter the whole year, and maybe they'll continue to prove me wrong. They did play pretty well against the Bills and showed resilience. Their defense played well against Josh Allen, who I said quarterback wins championships, and they beat the quarterback. Josh Allen fully lost that game for the Bills when it mattered most. Josh Allen did Josh Allen things, which is choking in the postseason. But I would love to see the Broncos win this game. I just don't see it happening. Okay, that is what you came here for. I'm going to quickly talk about Seahawks-Rams with the next 2 minutes. I think this is going to be the game of the year. I talked about it in the short that I posted. My two favorite teams of the year, I think it is going to be an absolute thriller. I really hope this game is as good as I think it could be. Two great offenses. I think if Seahawks and Ken Walker can run the ball as well as he did against the 49ers, I think the Seahawks win. Again, making Sam Darnold in situations where he's not having to do too much is going to be really good. Can the defense play well? Can they stop Matt Stafford? Can they have a better first half? Can they contain the Rams in the second half like they did? I just don't think Sean McVay is going to choke away another game like that, so the Seahawks have to play better in that first half. They've been dominant. Rams have had 2 postseason games. They're battle-tested. All these different things. Is the health of the Rams a question? I mean, the Seahawks were able to play second stringers for parts of that 49ers game as well, so not only did they get the bye, but they had a blowout in their postseason game. So, truthfully, I think the Rams are a little bit in trouble more than I'd like to admit. I'm still thinking the Rams are going to win this game, but truthfully, I don't know. That Seahawks team is pretty deadly. I do think whoever comes out of the NFC wins the Super Bowl. I will catch you on the next one. Peace.